Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Big Rican Cleveland Browns pregame show. And check the calendar. It is January 17th, which means the Cleveland Browns are now in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs for the first time since 1994. It is an epic Sunday because today they get a shot at the champ. So, before I get into today's game, I want to recap a couple of things quick and bring you up to speed on one other thing. First things first. As I said on Twitter, this is the 100th episode. But with what happened last Sunday and what happened on Monday night that I will get into, and then what's going on today, I had to push the big live event, the MJ LeBron debate, to Thursday night, which is actually my 42nd birthday. So it's going to be the Big Rican birthday extravaganza. It's going to go live at 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, in YouTube, and on Periscope on Twitter. So everybody who listens out there, I would love to hear what you have to say about that debate, and I would love to hear your opinions on the things I'm going to say. I expect it to be a full-on argument 95% of the time that we're going to be doing this. So, having said that, let's dive into what happened last weekend. And that, of course, let's start on Sunday. So Sunday night, I sit down in my Baker Mayfield t-shirt, same hat I'm wearing now, backwards. I even have the same shirt on that I did the pregame show in last week. So you can tell I'm trying to be as close to the same as I can be. I sit down and I called the Browns were going to win. I fully believed it. Did I expect to be up 28-0 in the first quarter? Not a bit. Did I expect them to do the things they did on offense? Now, that I did. I expected a good night out of Baker Mayfield. I expected a good night out of the running game, and I got both of them. A huge win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger has said he is coming back next year. I don't know why. I mean, what I saw from Ben Roethlisberger on Sunday night, he threw for 500 yards. He threw a few touchdown passes. He did it from down 28 to start because of 3 picks in the first half, and of course the one in the fourth quarter to Taki. And really, you can't really blame Ben for 2 of them. One of them was off the hands of a receiver, and the other one was actually batted straight up in the air by a defensive lineman that Porter Gustin just happened to grab before it hit the ground. But the screen pass that MJ Stewart intercepted, yes, that's on him. So let's get into what the Browns did well on offense, and that is basically whatever they wanted. Baker Mayfield had his national coming out party in this game. He threw for 200 and some odd yards. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but he threw 3 touchdown passes. He didn't turn the ball over. A 40-yard strike to Jarvis Landry. Strike to Austin Hooper in the end zone. And then the play that I firmly believe that this was the Cleveland Browns of 2 or 3 years ago that somehow got into the playoffs. They would have never made this play, and that was the screen pass to Nick Chubb with the great lead blocking downfield by not only the offensive line, but also the wide receivers out in space, and he scores a touchdown really to put the game away. 2 late Cody Parkey field goals, a 48-37 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and here we are on Divisional Sunday, and the Cleveland Browns are alive and well. So let's go to Monday night. Yeah, I was wrong about Ohio State. They ran into a buzzsaw. And I only watched the first half. Not because they were getting killed, but because I'd been up late the night before, and I am getting older. I'm 42 on Thursday. And I couldn't hang. So I went to bed. It was 35-17 Alabama. But if you would have told me before that game started that Tommy Togiai and I can't remember the other guy's first name. His last name is Smith. I got to see what his first name was. But if you would have told me that they were going to be out with 2 of their defensive line stars, and you were going to tell me that Trey Sermon was going to get 1 carry because of injury, I could have told you Ohio State was not going to win that game, and they were not going to win it or they were going to get blown out. What I did see an offensive unit that could score with Alabama until the defense got tired and couldn't do anything about it. I saw a team that, honestly, I firmly believe it was Tyreek Smith. I'm sorry. So you're going to tell me Tyreek Smith and Tommy Togi I weren't going to play. I was going to tell you, no, they're not going to win this game. What I saw was a team that when Alabama went up 7-0, they scored. When Alabama went up 14-7, they scored again. But unfortunately, this is not the Ohio State team from last year, where you had 3 first-round picks in the defensive backfield and a first-round pick on the defensive line. That team would have been more set defensively to take on this team. I firmly believe that the deficiencies in the secondary is why this game happened. Plus, let's be honest, Alabama has NFL weapons all over its offense. And for me to say that and to give kudos to Alabama, those of you who know me, you know I can't stand that school. But I got to tip my hat. Alabama went out and won that national title 52-24, handing Ohio State its worst loss of the Ryan Day era. So Ryan Day in 2 seasons has been borderline, he's been phenomenal. 12-1 last year, or 13-1 last year, 7-1 this year for 20-2 in his first 22 games. Of course, with COVID, he didn't have a full season. So where does that leave Ohio State? Well, I think something that's pretty fishy is that Justin Fields has not announced his intentions as of yet. I firmly believe that Fields needs another year. He holds onto the ball too long. He has issues making anticipatory throws, but he is still a top-tier talent. And here is the scary part. They've got 3 5-stars behind him. C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, the Ewers kid from Texas who's coming in next year. They signed Marvin Harrison Jr. as a wide receiver. The wide receiver room is scary with 5 stars all around it, including the now number 1 option if Chris Olave goes to the pros in Garrett Wilson to go with Cameron Wilson, to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba, to go with Farrell, the tight end, Ruckert, who made the play of the night on offense for Ohio State with the one-handed catch to set up Master Teague's first touchdown. Phenomenal play. They got some good news for next year already. Thayer Mumford has decided to use his extra year of eligibility, and he will be back, a staple on that very good and very deep offensive line. So a lot of stuff going right for Ohio State football now. As an aside with Ohio State football, I want to send my congratulations out to Urban Meyer on becoming the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coach, please don't purge the entire staff at Ohio State who came there because of you. Coach Day is going to need everybody going into next year. So congratulations to Urban. Listen, phenomenal season for Ohio State. When we started the whole journey with the Big Ten, and we didn't think we were getting a season, and those boys really put up a fight to get a season, to go out and finish another Big Ten season undefeated, to get the Clemson monkey off their back, and to get to a national championship game. Phenomenal season. This is not on Ohio State losing that game. Alabama went out and won it. So tip of the cap to Alabama. The Bucs will be back next year. I'm going to do a full in-depth show when we get closer to college football next year as to what Ohio State's going to bring back. So now, we're 9 minutes in. Let's dive into today. The Browns are the lowest remaining seed in the NFL playoffs. In the AFC, they get the champs. In Kansas City, 3:05 today. It is now 1:17 in the afternoon. I have read all week on how they have no chance. The Cleveland Browns are right now, I believe it's a 10-point underdog in Vegas. Let's see. Latest odds. Kansas City is a 9.5-point favorite at home. Now, in most years, with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, I would say yes. But a funny thing happened on the way to this week. The Browns got back their entire starting secondary. The Browns got back their head coach, their offensive line coach. They got back Joel Bitonio. They got back Kadero Hodge. They still have Baker, Chubb, Hunt, the rest of the offensive line. Garrett is another week after COVID. Losing Olivier Vernon is going to be tough. So here's the thing. I'm going to start on the defensive side of the ball because this is where the Browns really got beat up last week. But again, they didn't have their starting two corners. Sammy Watkins is out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was still questionable. So here's the thing. The Browns need to limit, not shut down, limit the offensive firepower of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the last few weeks, the Chiefs haven't been playing good, and no one's talking about it. No one is talking about how Patrick Mahomes has gone through a stretch in the last few weeks he's never gone through in his NFL career. Why? Because the Chiefs kept winning. Was part of that who they were playing? Possibly. They were playing the Atlanta Falcons. They were playing the Raiders. They were playing, although they beat Tampa and they beat New Orleans in the last several weeks. So they've beaten some good teams, but they haven't been the Chiefs. Andy Reid coming off a bye is a sick record. I think it's like 26-5 coming off a bye. And they're at home, but this is a different animal. This is 2020. Home field isn't a huge thing. So what the Browns need to do is they need to contain Le'Veon Bell, who is going to get the bulk of the running back duties today if Edwards-Helaire is not ready. And they need to limit Mahomes when he's out of the pocket. They need to play it like they tried to play against Lamar. Here's where they can stop them. If you limit them to 5 and 6 play drives that don't score, aren't going to have many, but if you can get them to go out and not score, force punts or field goals, you have a chance to beat this team. And you have a chance to do it in a way that, again, no one has spoken about all week. And that is very simply this way. And I'm going to break it down with stats for you now. For the first time in Pro Football Focus's history, one team has had the top-ranked pass blocking offensive line and the top run blocking offensive line. And that is those dogs in the trenches, the Cleveland Browns. We're a year removed from having the worst offensive line in football. That's what happens when you sign Jack Conklin, you draft Jedrick Wills, and you hire Bill Callahan to be the offensive line coach. So here is what no one is talking about. The Kansas City Chiefs are the 23rd ranked run defense in the entire NFL. That means there's only 9 teams worse than them in the entire league. And they are playing the best run blocking offensive line in the game. So what's my keys to the Cleveland Browns winning this game? Same thing it's been every week this year. Win the line of scrimmage. Going back a week, here's how the Browns won the line of scrimmage and still gave up those amount of yards. Ben was pressured. Baker was clean. Uniform wasn't really dirty. They didn't hit him once. Got to do the same thing today. Kansas City's got a couple of decent pass rushers, and of course the Honey Badger in the secondary. They're a decent defense. They can't stop the run. And this is the most talented offensive backfield in the NFL today, with Kareem Hunt, who is on a mission. He did wrong and got tossed out of Kansas City. I am 100% on with what Kansas City did. I get it. Move on. But Hunt's not happy. And if you thought he was running, as Baker put, pissed off last week, how's he going to run this week against his former team? And now Nick Chubb is getting into his wheelhouse. There aren't many people who are saying it. There aren't many people who believe it. But I do. The Cleveland Browns are going to the AFC Championship game. They will win this game. And they are going to do it by controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the running game, and controlling the clock. You have to limit the amount of possessions Patrick Mahomes has, or else you're going to get boat raced in this one. If I am correct, and I'm not, in the score prediction, I got the Browns winning by 3. I got 34-31. Because think about it, the Browns have put up 40 points 5 times this year, and all of them were against teams that were better defensively than the Kansas City Chiefs. Not saying they're going to blow them out. I'm saying they're going to be able to score points. Somebody said to me, oh, well, isn't that what San Francisco was going to do last year in the Super Bowl? It didn't work. Well, I'm here to tell you this. If any of you out there think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, you've got something seriously wrong with your cognitive abilities. Baker Mayfield is a franchise quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good-looking face who got traded because Bill Belichick didn't like him. End of story. I'm sorry, not Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft. How'd that work out? Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl, Brady left. If the Cleveland Browns can do that today and score the upset, it is setting up something that is so 2020, blows your mind. If that happens, the final game next Sunday would be from Buffalo, New York, where the Buffalo Bills would host the AFC Championship game against the Cleveland Browns. Really? The two of the longest suffering fan bases were one win away from getting that championship game and 2 wins away, if it's the Browns, from getting to the one place they have never been, and that is the Super Bowl. Remember, the Browns have 7 or 8 championships. They're all from the old NFL and the old AAFC. The last time they won a championship was pre-Super Bowl. I want to say it was 2 years before the Super Bowl, in 1964. Yeah, because 66 was Super Bowl 1. No, 67 was Super Bowl 1, 68 was 2, 69 was 3. Okay. So it was a few years before the Super Bowl they won their last championship. Could 2020 be just the upside-down year we need to get a title in Cleveland? I tell you what, if they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs at home, they're the odds-on favorite to go. I honestly believe they're going to get it done. 34-31 Browns. I think they'll be able to put points up. I think they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage again, and they are going to get this thing done. And we are going to come to you next weekend, God willing, with an AFC Championship preview. Repeating, an AFC Championship preview where the Cleveland Browns will be a part of it. If they don't get it done after Thursday, we'll see. Because I got to get into some Cavaliers some more. And I got to start prepping for the next stuff. Speaking of the next stuff, let's dive in. Thursday night, 8:30. YouTube, Facebook, Periscope on Twitter. The live Big Rican Birthday Bash, The Debate. Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Who is the GOAT? I sent Alex from Row 7 a video the other day of part of the script. Because I'm scripting this one out. Or I'm doing the talking points. I am hoping that a lot of people who listen and will be watching will want to be a part of the conversation and a part of the narrative. I think that is the best way we can do this. Because right now, the greatest debate in all of sports media is so one-sided, we don't hear from anyone else. So I'm going to try and take a step back and look at the whole board, as it were. The Monday night after the Super Bowl, 9 p.m., Big Rican, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. We get into Hot Stove Part 2 with Alex and Tone. Alex from Row 7, Tone from Cardboards and Cracker Jacks. Because guess what? When it goes 0-0 on the Super Bowl, it's baseball season. And it has been far too long. We're going to dive into, of course, the big trade the Mets made recently and the other signings that are on the horizon. So for today, control the line of scrimmage, run the football, limit the amount of possessions, and your Cleveland Browns will go to the AFC Championship game. As always, Big Rican can be found here on YouTube, Big Rican on Sports, Facebook, Big Rican on Sports, on Twitter, at Big Rican on Sport, Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, Google, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts for all your audio. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Go Dogs. Here's to a shot at an AFC Championship. Have a good one.